From Supermom to family killer, the McCarty tragedy unveiled. Tragedies and crimes are two distinct concepts. However, there are times they can be connected because of the context of the crime. Tragedies often refer to events that involve great suffering, sorrow, or misfortune, and crimes more often than pave the path to such situations. This tragic incident, reported in early 2015 involving a mother committing a murder-suicide attempt, was a criminal tragedy that shocked a whole nation. Why did she do that? Was the question everyone saddened by the tragic event wanted answers to. So, in this video, we're going to unveil the tragic events that transpired on that dark day when Jessica McCarty decided to kill her children and commit suicide. This is the McCarty tragedy unveiled. It was the 20th of March 2015. Police received an emergency call from a woman saying that she killed her children. The woman was Jessica McCarty, a 33-year-old woman and mother to 3 children. However, when the police rushed to her house in Palm Bay, Florida, 2 of her children were dead and the youngest, an infant aged no more than 5 months, was fighting death. Her frantic call wasn't the only call the police received that day. Her then-boyfriend also called the police after he found the children in the condition. Taking matters to another level, Jessica McCarty had tried to commit suicide too. The 5-month-old spent 2 days on life support in a local hospital but couldn't be saved. He joined his siblings 2 days after he was found in that fatal condition. Jessica McCarty was a 33-year-old divorcee with 3 children at the time. In her first marriage with Philip McCarty, they had 2 children, 7-year-old Lacey McCarty, her only daughter, and 6-year-old Philip McCarty. Her youngest son, Christopher Swist, was fathered by Chris Swist, who was her boyfriend at the time of the murders. Christopher was barely 5 months old at the time of the botched murder-suicide. Prior to the incident, Jessica McCarty had been investigated by the Department of Children and Families in 2009. The investigations were conducted due to possible child neglect. She had been recommended to seek mental health counseling after the investigation, because of her suicidal tendencies that could be observed at that time as well. She had also been charged with shoplifting, forgery, and drug abuse. It was also reported that Jessica McCarty and Chris Swist had been having troubles in their relationship before the tragic crime. On the day of the attempted murder-suicide, Jessica McCarty called the police after inflicting fatal injuries on the children and slicing her own wrists with a knife. She had also sent photos of the house with bloody marks on the walls and the floor to her boyfriend at the time, Chris Swist. He immediately rushed home and found their 5-month-old son lying on a bed. A cord was wrapped around his neck. Then, he found her other 2 children in the same room, Philip in a corner and Lacey also on a bed, unresponsive and wounded. He also called the police. After police arrived at her home in Palm Bay around 6 p.m., they found her outside the house, in the front yard. While trying to apprehend her, police had to shoot her with beanbag rounds as she was armed with a butcher's knife. She was uncooperative towards the police and threatened with the knife, refusing to put it down. Only after requesting her several times to cooperate, did the police shoot her with less lethal beanbag rounds. They had to shoot 5 to 6 rounds. After her injuries were treated, she was taken into custody. Both Philip and Lacey were pronounced dead on the same day. Baby Christopher was rushed to a hospital and put on life support for 2 days at Florida Hospital for Children. It was revealed that Jessica McCarty had drowned Lacey in the bathtub and strangled Philip and Christopher with cords around their neck. She was charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 attempted murder at first. However, the attempted murder was also upgraded to first-degree murder after Christopher Swist was pronounced dead after several days. In one of her mugshot photos, she's dressed in a suicide prevention vest and her wrists seem to be bandaged. It was later revealed during the investigation that she had left a note at the crime scene. It had been addressed to her family, claiming that she was sorry for what she had to do and to keep Christopher's name alive, especially addressing the infant's father. When she was brought in front of the court at the Brevard County Courthouse in Viera, Florida, after several months, she pleaded guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder. She was crying the whole time during the admitting to her crimes. She avoided trial and the death penalty due to pleading guilty, even though she had been begging for the death penalty ever since she was apprehended. She was sentenced to life in prison for the crimes. Most of her family members were in favor of the life sentence as they believed that was a harsher punishment than the death penalty. Both fathers of her children were present at her sentencing. Jessica McCarty's poor mental health was blamed for the murders. It was mentioned that there had been 2 previous attempts at suicide by her, It was pointed out by her family that her mental health conditions had been overlooked by mental health professionals she had sought help from. A few days before the tragic event took place, she had sought help from mental health professionals. During the investigations, she also revealed that she had been sexually abused twice, once when she was 7 years old, leading to her struggles with mental health. The heartbreaking event was a shock to the whole community because of the brutality of the situation. Many parties also discussed how that was a wake-up call for the whole nation to remind that mental health is important. The tragic truth of Jessica McCarty's murder case was a reminder of how important it is to be aware of mental health problems and take actions to prevent such incidents from taking place. Take better care of your own mental health while supporting others who struggle with their mind. Thank you for watching. To find more information about similar content, subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourself and please reach out to someone if you're struggling.